Alright, so this is my first time actually using clay for a ground up project, and I have to say, I fucking love it. In this video, I'm going to show you how we basically just take some scraped leads and then run them through a deep enrichment process to get all of this data. So we have how many valid emails we have, how many of those have a name, the total number of reviews, total rating, last 30-day reviews, last 30 days rating, total photos, bunch of details about their business profile and their website as well, content length, internal links, copyright year at the bottom, etc. So let's get started. Basically, all I did here is scrape some leads. I just go use my old task as a template, and we can go remodeler in, I don't know, let's just do like Colorado or something. So we'll get every single remodeler in Colorado, except that we're limiting it to 100 just for testing. And I'm going to go ahead and hit get data. And that's going to cost me about, is that 3 cents or 30 cents? About 30 cents. So, yeah, I mean, you're welcome that I'm even making this video. Anyways, let's just start the task. But I already have a list of contacts ready. So this most recent list is a bunch of remodelers from Washington. And let's just run it. So that's the list that we got. I'm just going to do import. And we don't have to make any changes. We literally just drag and drop this. Wait, that says dentist. Hang on. Okay, so this is actually right. I just forgot to rename it. So we just hit continue, and we can literally just hit continue on all this stuff. All the columns are already mapped because we're not changing anything. And we'll just hit save and run rows on this table. So you can see we have 61 columns, actually 59 that we've added in this table. And it's going to add all those new leads down at the bottom here. Maybe we could sort by newly added. So I just sorted by newly added. We can see all those guys at the top. And then what we see over here is our save to table number 2 step. So we have 3 tables. We're going to have 4 tables by the time we're ready to send these cold emails. And we're sending this to our API, which is actually basically just sending it to table number 2 because we're almost out of columns. You can only have 72 columns in clay, in a clay table. So we take that and we just send it over there, and we get a response like, it's basically going to say we're good to go. Company inserted and sent to table number 2. And then run condition not met, we are only sending this if we don't have any emails. So you can see for this company, we have no email 1, no email 2, and no email 3. Now, in this table, we'll see all these leads from that first table already dropped in. And we have the email addresses from them, and then we're running a validation step. So we're using emailable, and we're checking that email, and we're seeing is it good to send or not. So we can see this one is risky, so we're not doing okay, but we can see this one is deliverable. So that one, email 1, is okay. And then we're running the same process on email number 2 and email number 3. Then we have our last kind of culmination step. We're saying, are any of these emails valid? And if so, then we're sending it to number 3, and we're actually going to be enriching the data in order to get the right data for this third step. And you can see, I think these might be just about done. Yes, these are done. But I'll run this again, and you can see them kind of pour in as they go. And this is the code that's actually running between these tables. So between table 2 and 3, this is what we're doing. So we have all the company data from the first table in our database. We're pulling that into this function. And then we're taking all those emails that we found to be valid, and we're checking if we can get a name from it. So basically, Outscraper will give us default names. So we can see for these, we have Steve. So email 1 address is Steve, and this is the name. But if we didn't have the name Steve here, if Outscraper didn't know that this was associated with someone named Steve, what we could do is we could look at that email and look at the first part of it. So if it's Steve or steve.bob@srake.com, then we would pull out Steve and set that as their first name. So we can actually enrich it. So for this one, we'll be able to see that we pulled out John. So let's come over to table number 3 here. And actually, we only count the number of emails, but we can actually pull out this name John here from that email and use it in our emails. So it's not rocket science, but you have to make sure that you know that this part in front of the @ sign is an email and not just nailed it on LLC, right? Because that's not someone's first name, I don't think, at least. So yeah, that's the step there, and then we compile those emails. Then we're getting the review data, so we're getting the number of reviews in the last 30 days, and then we're saving and returning that result. So we have all this different data that shows up in table number 3, as well as some information about the website. And if we go to our website step, either they have no website, so has website is false, or they have a website, but it's just a placeholder, like one of these websites, Instagram, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Or they have a website and it's not valid, so it's broken. Or finally, they do have a website and it's valid, and then we get all this information, like the alt image percentage, internal links count, homepage link, copyright year, and that will show up in this table. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Now let's run our Colorado list. So let's just make sure this is the right list. So this one is Colorado, remodelers. And yep, Colorado. So this top one here. So we'll do import, and then import from CSV, and we'll just drop this in. And I'm gonna make sure everything's sorted. Okay, so we got this table sorted and this table sorted, so we should be able to see them pop in as they go. So let's say add to table, save and run rows in this table. Okay, so it just added all these guys at the top. And now if we come over this table, we'll see these guys start to pop in, and we'll see the email validator running for the companies that actually have an email. And all of these in this table should have a first email, because that's the qualification to get to this table, but some of them will have invalid emails, as we can see. And then it also runs it on email 2 if we need it, or if they have one. And finally, it's going to enrich it to column number 3, which is kind of a long-running process, so it might take a second for them to show up. If we go to our tasks here, we can see there's a bunch of stuff running right now. But if we go back to this table, we can see them start to pop in with all the enriched data. So this one didn't have a copyright year, but they had 7 internal links and a 4,000 characters on their homepage. And holy cow, a bunch just loaded in. So 0% of this person's website images have an alt tag. I mean, yeah, so this is just pretty fucking sick. And it's fully automated, dude. Before I was doing this using like a Postgres database, like Supabase, and it was a pain in the ass. You had to manage the whole process yourself. And now it just does it like fully automated. Like it actually takes people from one table to the next and runs each task individually. It's just so much more reliable and robust. And this is actually free. I've used, I think, like a few hundred credits just testing stuff out, but this HTTP creating new tables and stuff doesn't use any credits. It's just fucking awesome. So, yeah, I love using Clay for this, and this is gonna be a bitchin' email campaign because look at all the data we have to personalize, and yeah, that's the video.